first started listening to reggae, it was not really dub, it was just reggae. And really it was when I was very young, as a child growing up in London. You know, they used to have a lot of people from Jamaica, used to come and live in London. And when they come, they bring their music with them. You know, like ska music and rocksteady. And where I used to live, next door to me was some people who was from Jamaica. And I used to know their children, we used to play together. So I used to go to his house and his dad would play ska music and rocksteady. And really that's how I first really listened to reggae. You know?
Yeah, it's the same with me really, where we used to live as a lot of Jamaicans. And when we was growing up there was more reggae on the radio. So now there's not so much. If you listen to proper radio in England, you don't get no reggae on the radio anymore. So it was that, and with friends, going around friends' houses and playing their dad's records and stuff. And that's it, come from there really.
To me there was only two white sounds in the 70s, and that was Jar Tubbies and a guy called Eastman Sound. He was from over Hackney Downs way. In London. There was only two white sounds. That was it. Jar Tubbies was the only white guy really to do it.
Yeah.
And to him to do that in the 70s, it was very brave.
It was huge.
Very brave, trust me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there was white people in reggae just did not really exist in them days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
they didn't, did it?
You could go to a Tubbies dance and it'll be ram out with people,
Yeah.
and you and Tubbies would be the only two white people
Yeah.
in there.
First time I see white people in a reggae dance, you mean lots of them, it wasn't Shaka, it was Manasseh. You know Manasseh?
Yeah.
Manasseh, there was three sound systems you had, Manassah, Joey J, and a Jar Warrior. And they used to have dances in Muswell Hill in North London. And this is about 87 or 86. And we used to go reggae dances when we was young.
Yeah.
And when we used to go, it was mostly 99.9% black people. And you was the only like white people there. It was like, you know what I mean? So for us, when I first went to this reggae dance, and I see lots of white people, I was very shocked. I was like, because we never see this before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And to me, that was the first time that the roots and dub things, I don't know, was going bigger. It was Manasseh, to me, it was Manasseh who had the crowd of white people. Yeah, and there wasn't white people like me that come from poor area. We come from areas like Hackney, which is very poor, and so there's like lots of different. Where they come from was like Camden or Muswell Hill, which is more richer. And if people speak like that, hello, you know what I'm saying? They're not like us. So for us to go there and see this is like, oh, it was mad. But it's a good thing still, you know what I mean? It's all good. Basically, doing music is a big struggle, you know. When I first started, I started on a little machine, little 4-track, and you know, it was very hard. I used to take my records to record shops, try and sell them, but we never used to make no money. And to actually live and to work with music is a very, very hard job. You have to be very, perseverance. You know, I mean, you have to really like strong-minded, because I felt sometimes I wanted to give up and just get a proper job. You know what I mean? Because the money, you can never really earn no money from music. You know, it's very hard. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the digital age. I mean, the digital age is good. The internet is good. In one way, it's really great for doing things like YouTube, and you can promote yourself. You can make a tune today, and 1,000 people can listen to it tomorrow. The problem is that no one not buying the music no more. They all expect it to be free, and it's like I cannot compete with free. If you know what I'm saying. If I try and sell something for £1, then the guy take it for £1, and the next thing he give it away for free to. You know what I mean? That's the kind of bad side to the internet. The good side is that we get a lot of promotion, and through the promotion we end up doing shows like this. And I mean, we do so much shows now. We do so much more shows now than we did, say, in the 90s. And people didn't really know us, but we used to sell more records in the 90s. Whereas now you don't really sell so much records, but you do more shows. So it's kind of like changed in that respect, you know.
Like you said, when Dougie was going to put his first tune out, when he first took it to the record shop, the man said he was mad.
Yeah.
The man said, "Are you making dub stuff. Dub stuff is finished
20 years ago.
because people stopped making that sort of music and was more on the dance or when
Oh.
digital stuff come out in the 80s and stuff.
France saved the whole of people in the dub music. Without France, we'd be kaput. You know what I mean? That's the best place for reggae music now. France.
A lot of reggae stars,
A lot of reggae. Even some people that lived in England, people like Joseph Cotton, you know, people like that, they left England and go and move to France and live in France now because there's so much work there for them to do, like DJing and shows. Whereas England is sort of like finished, in my opinion. It's nowhere near as big as in France or even in Europe. We was going to France when we first went there, it was about 1994, 95, and we used to do tours. We used to get a bus, me, it was Bush Chemist, Disciples, maybe Iration, and we used to get a bus all around France. And sometimes we used to play to 10 people, less people than is here now. When we first started to go to France, nobody was interested in dub music. You know, so we was doing it for years, doing shows and tours and things, and so it gradually build and build and build. And now it's pretty big. And I think the same thing could happen in the rest of Europe. You know, we do lots of shows in Italy, we do lots of shows even in Eastern Europe, Poland, Czech Republic, all them places, isn't it? All over Europe, really. Really, is listening to the music. If you grew up in the 70s and listened to people like Hugh Mundell or Dennis Brown or any of them artists, all their music had a positive message. It always told the kids to do something good. You know, it was never about, it was always good. So to me, that was, the word conscious to me was making music that didn't have no crap things in it, shit things, like shoot your brother or, you know what I mean, go around being bad. All that music, if you listen to every one of my records, none will have a negativity. It would all have a message, you know what I'm saying? Not some, you know what I mean, some good things. Good, you know, either, like I say, anti-establishment or something to do good. You know, it was never, you know, that was to me was the consciousness. You know what I mean? The records that had a good message, as opposed to what you get now, that is all about shoot someone or some rubbish like that. You know what I'm saying? I think that music is a big influence on people. When I was young, like I say, with punk rock, when I see Johnny Rotten, he had green hair, I have green hair next day. And I think with kids now, when they see these rappers and all that with guns and knives and all that shit, they think they can get a knife or two. You know what I mean? And if you come to London and live in London now, you have gangs of kids who think they are super rapper, and if you go to their area, they will stab you or shoot you for nothing, you know, for stupidness. And I think people say that music doesn't really affect it, but I think it does. I think music has a big influence on, especially young teenage people. You know, it can fuck up their brains or make their brain good. You know what I mean? And to me, the conscious thing was the music we make have a good message. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's easy to put reggae in one basket, but you know, there's different avenues of reggae music, and
Yeah, definitely.
the Rasta music, roots music, reggae was definitely the avenue to go down.
Yeah.
The other stuff, dancehall music, started to get more hatred and
Yeah.
more gun violence, and so when you listen to the message in roots music, it's the way forward, you know?
Yeah.
If all the children grow up this way, then the world would be a better place. It's simple as that. So, you know, the consciousness is the way. Kids that, you know, when they're watching MTV and they're seeing what these rappers have got, what possessions they've got and how they're acting, and it's like it's classed as nothing. It's classed like it's okay. This is what the kids are going to follow because they can see the riches and stuff that they can get from this music. But really what they've got to try and focus on is being true and being real, and realise that they can be rich in other ways. It ain't all to do with money and flash cars and stuff like this. So if we can teach our youths and our children the better way of growing up, the right way, then this is the way forward, you know? I could just give advice to people who are like want to sing songs and make songs, and all I can say is if we keep the music good and keep it positive and not negative, then it can only move forward. So.
Whether it is hard for the people to can endure, your hands up be clean and your heart up be pure. Now bother make a step if you're not really sure. Temptation is a trap, we see it allure. But in a Jaja, I'm a faith well secure. Eden are the sickness, Rastafari are the cure. In a the final run, no matter if you're rich or poor. Coulda pour like a water rich with money galore. Better dash it all of that, ja aga level us go. Because the fittest are the fittest shall survive. I want you know the fittest are the fittest shall stand. I tell you say the fittest are the fittest shall survive. I want you know the fittest are the fittest shall stand. Because you never know yourself until you're back against the wall. Babylon kingdom must have to fall. I true them not go here when your righteous call. Them a go run up and down and weep and a ball. Who not run a go drop down and crawl. Meanwhile we there as Zion not 10 feet tall. Although here tire go stumble and stall. But through your inspiration love conquer all. Because the fittest are the fittest shall survive. I want you know the fittest are the fittest